Look at this motherfucking place. Showing you a little bit what's around here. Prove that I actually do go outside. The Zen Viking is not an armchair, reviewer, tester. I'm not just making comments on stuff based on what other people say. Well, I do base a lot of stuff on what other people say. But, when you can get first-hand experience, that's where it's at, man. Look at that. Well, I was going to come and walk over that way and kind of do the review over there, but, it's a bit loud, and that doesn't look fun to walk on. So we'll go back this way. Oh, we got a neighbor here. Fisherman friend. Hi, how you doing, brother? So I figured today I'll just cruise outside, do a little review, little talking on this little item. Leatherman Skeletool. As you know, these Leathermans are awesome, but you oftentimes get issues with keeping one with you. They're heavy. They're awkward. And that's where this one shines for me. I've had this for several years, so I've had some good use and good work with it. And I find that this is the one that gets with me, both because it's lighter and because it has the integrated pocket clip right there. I find it has fairly good retention. And then this carabiner deal, which has not weakened on me over time and has become many a fellow camper's borrowed beer topping tool. I find I don't I like 154 cm probably better than the 440 that's on the regular ones, but I just don't like it as well as VG10 or S30V or some of the other steels that people put out there. But other people just absolutely love it. But yeah, it's certainly better than the normal 440, if only for corrosion resistance. That's another thing. This thing's all diced up, man. This thing don't rust on me. I've got a little bit here in the... Okay, how do you open the Skeletool with one hand? How? Very carefully. Down in here, I've noticed a little tiny bit, but not really that much. So it's much more corrosion resistant, and that's really nice when you're keeping it on your person, especially in my environment. It's hot as hell, and you sweat like a pig fucker. And I was having I had a wave, have a Leatherman wave with a what do you call it, pocket clip on it, and I was carrying that for a while because I like to roll heavy anyway, so I don't mind the weight. But it just started to rust, and I was like, fuck, dude. Whereas this one didn't. You're significantly limited on tools. All you got is the bit driver, the knife, and the pliers, and then the bottle capper. If and for some people don't even drink beers at all, so they don't. That's not something they care about. But I've had this a good long while, and it's really held up. I was worried about this piece right here, where you have that little extra bit. I was worried that the bit would be falling out, and it was doing really good for a long time, and then I actually did lose one. But I tell you what, I've just bought a set of replacement bits, and one of these was in there that was the same way, and I just put that bad boy in there, and I just got another pair of pliers and just crimped it right there, and no wiggle ever since, no losses ever since either. So if you do have one of these, I recommend crimping it right there. I just love this thing. I keep it hooked on my my belt loop right there the majority of the time. We got some attention over here. Hey, what's up, guys? Hey. And, you know, it's just a great little tool. I use it a lot. I love it. It's really held up. You can see that I have just thrashed on the edge. I can put it on next to my hand so it'll focus. I've really hit that thing with a stone quite a few times. It's held up just fine. Blade shape's good. Serrations I think are fine for EDC, so I mean I don't mind that. And one-handed opening, epic. Skeletool, and this is the Skeletool CX, so it's got all the carbon fiber and like I don't know if this is titanium or annotated aluminum. I think it's annotated aluminum. But yeah, dude, corrosion resistant. Maybe now you can see it. Maybe not be able to see it. Maybe it's just I can't see it with this much light in this camera outside. But so there's a little bit of corrosion in those cracks in there. And nothing bad, nothing you couldn't scrub out if you really wanted to. Nothing that I think is going to cause a lot of any observable tool depreciation. You know what I did find though, that these wire cutters are not real tight. They're not real close, like fixed close together. Here, let's see if I can show you. There's a fair amount of gap in between those two. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. But there's a fair amount of gap in between them, enough so that some of the finer, like wire, if you were to try to cut, I was like trying to cut some fine wire, and it just was folding it in half rather than cutting it. So you might have some issues there. I ended up just using a knife, just cut it. Yeah, don't forget that, guys. There's a lot of stuff that you may think that you need a wire cutter for, but if your knife is good enough and your knife is good steel, good temper, you know, good heat treatment, and you keep it sharp, dude, you can cut some wire in half with a knife for sure, without messing up your blade or anything either. But yeah, anyway, there's Skeletool. I love it. I've had it for years. Works really well, and more than anything, I think its advantage is if it's low corrosion, and this right here and this right here, that pocket clip and that little carabiner clip just really make it easy to keep it on your person, you know, for everyday carry tasks, and I'd say for everyday carry and backpacking. Like, this is definitely a good, if you want a multi-tool that's got some real capabilities but it's still really lightweight, dude, there you go. And you know, you can lose, if you carry a pocket knife, you can lose a pocket knife because you got that blade right there. So this is Zen Viking giving props to the Skeletool.